One of the things that we have on display here at the store is actually competitive jerseys of a lot of our surfers: Jack Robinson, Stephanie Gilbert, Carissa Moore, Felipe Toledo. And in this section right here, I have old Andy Aarons personal boards, shaped by Eric Arakawa, Wade Takoro, Jeff Johnston, JS, JC, as well as Timmy Patterson, Kelly Slater, Mick Fanning, John Florence, Carlos Munoz, and Gabriel Medina. Right above me, I have my favorite surfer, Derek Ho, which was our first world champ from Hawaii. When we started back in 2010, my partners, Liam McNamara and Brian Daniels, we wanted to make sure that we did something unique and special, not just another surf shop. And that's what we wanted to be focused on the community, focused on the Kikis, sponsor as much as we could, the Groms, and provide a history of the surfing community that we have here in the North Shore. Something very unique about our store is that when you come in right away, you'll notice the large selection of vintage surfboards that we have from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way to nowadays. That way we can showcase the rich history of the surfing community that we have here in the North Shore. Over the years, I actually have a little bit of a channel of what it was that I was looking for. First of all, I was trying to get one of each world champ from beginning to now. The second thing was I was trying to get one of each Pipe Master winner, which to me is one of the most important events that happen here in the North Shore. This board is super important to me because it was actually shaped by one of the best Hawaiian shapers, Ben Aipa, and it was actually shaped for Butters Kukiukalani, which to me was a dear friend. This board was actually photographed in California. As you can see, that's the board right there. What we got here is a 1976 vintage surfboard that was actually shaped by Dick Brewer for one of the most famous surfers that came from Australia, Mark Richards. Back in 1976, there was a famous photo shoot with Mark Richards. And in that board, if I'm not mistaken, there is about 11 boards. This is the only board that is not on display in the Australian Museum. And acquiring the boards was a little bit tricky. It started with me actually searching in social media to family and friends that knew what I was trying to do. Until now, we actually have fellow collectors that we trade surfboards. And I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we get the surfboards from. But nowadays, it's more so through social media, through friends, and people that actually are trying to support the cause, which is to build a proper museum. And that collection cannot be completed without one of Kelly's personal boards. Kelly Slater is actually our 11th World Time Champ. And this is a board that he actually rode back in the early 2000s when he was off the tour. And it's a very famous board that was actually displayed in cover shots and also in a video game. I'm actually not your typical surfer. I'm not the best, but I love the history and part of it. I was born and raised in Mexico, but I moved to Hawaii back in 2002. And my first experience was a final, which was Kelly Slater against Andy Aarons. And that was such an impressive introduction for surfing. I automatically got hooked. The lightning bolt, the ones in the front, yeah. Yeah, big doggy. And every time I see a surfboard, I see history. That's what brings my attention. From 70s and 80s, which is my favorite era, to the 90s and 2000s, all the boards actually are significant to an episode or an event that happened here in the North Shore. I think it's super important to have a collection like this on display to share with the public because you need to know where you come from to know where you're going. And the fact that there is not a single museum in the North Shore, from North Shore Surf Shop to the community, this is the way to give back and show the history that we have here in the North Shore.